Hello and welcome to the LuckyShots podcast. Although it's not really a podcast yet, we are just going to go here with Facebook Live for a while. Say hello to Missy, the cat. I'm your host, Ricky Larson, and this is my co-host, the lofty Brock Loftus.
That's me.
Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Recap for the week. We got injuries here. Big one was Chris Carson.
On your team. Ouch.
Yes.
Just traded him to him.
Just traded. Very, very tough. Out with the knee sprain, came off of a dirty play. He is maybe going to play. Haven't really gotten anything solid from Pete Carroll, whether he's playing or not, but I doubt
not Carlos Hyde.
Yes,
he will be the featured back.
I doubt he's going to play, especially they don't really need him to. It's not like they have a very tough matchup this week. And like he said, Carlos Hyde fits into the system very well.
Mm-hmm.
So
he was good for the San Francisco 49ers. So
yeah, and I have a soft spot in my heart for him, an Ohio State Buckeye. Chris Godwin, hamstring, probably not playing the next couple of weeks. That's kind of a tough one right there for anybody who has Chris Godwin. Gonna have to look to
that'd be me.
Shift elsewhere for your wide receivers.
Right.
Tariq Cohen, torn ACL, done for the rest of the year.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, seems to be a common theme this year. A lot of knee injuries. I think you could just chalk it up to they didn't have a lot of preparation time. Kind of a just tough situation for a lot of those guys. Deontay Johnson, concussion. Jerick McKinnon, his ribs. Jordan Reed, his ankle, which Jordan Reed hurt most of the time. Luckily, not a concussion. He's had a lot of those. Another one might have kept him out of football permanently. So at least it's just his ankle. Hopefully he will get back here pretty soon. Russell Gage, head injury is what it's being reported as. More than likely a concussion, so he's got to go through all the protocols to get himself back on the field. Mike Williams, a hamstring. John Brown, calf. Deshaun Jackson, hamstring. A lot of leg injuries. Like I said, I think it's probably just because, he had a shorter training camp, a shorter, not even a preseason, so that's just bodies aren't ready. Kind of they were sitting around for 6 months, not a whole lot they could have done, and less preparation time kind of will hinder your body. Dallas Goddard and Jared Cook both with ankles, and Tyrod Taylor still out. Very crazy situation. If you haven't heard, he was having rib issues. The team doctor before, week 2's game, gave him an injection for the pain, accidentally punctured his lung, so it's a crazy situation. But
Chargers have a new cool quarterback in anyways.
Yeah, and he's been playing well. Hello to the cat again. He's been playing well, so hopefully has another good week, and, that will just kind of negate anything Tyrod Taylor's going to do, and that way you kind of have a clear idea of who the Chargers quarterback's going to be if you're trying to play one of them. I don't advise it, but definitely something you can do. All right, on to some news. Going to let Brock take a little hold of this one.
Well, let's see here. Nick Foles replaces Mitch Trubisky in the comeback with the Falcons. Thanks for letting me take the head on this one.
Yeah.
That was crazy. I was at work watching this game, and Nick Foles didn't look amazing, but he didn't throw an interception. He threw a touchdown pass to the tight end, Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
Falcons again lose a big one. So that was cool. He had 188 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an intercept. Oh, he did throw an interception.
Yeah.
Ouch.
But, I mean...
He started in the third quarter?
Middle second quarter.
Second quarter?
Which,
okay.
very funny situation. You have Mitch Trubisky in.
Mm-hmm.
He's not doing terrible. Throws an interception. You pull the plug on him right away. Bring in Nick Foles, and right away throws an interception.
He didn't look good. I was disappointed in that. He didn't look good, but he won the game.
I mean, I think if it wasn't the Falcons, would have been a different story.
Yeah.
But the Falcons,
Yep.
just a disappointment.
Poor guys. All right, we got Josh Allen having another big game-winning drive, 311 yards, 4 touchdowns, rushing touchdown, interception, and fumble. Crazy numbers. This guy's been putting up crazy numbers since he came in the NFL, honestly.
And here's a question. Do you buy into Josh Allen after these first 3 weeks, or do you still stay patient on him because the first 3 weeks were such easy games?
I don't know. I think I buy in on him. Josh Allen's been good. He's hopefully going to turn the Buffalo organization around.
I mean, as the fantasy owner of Josh Allen, I've been very happy with the first 3 weeks.
Fantasy-wise, he's awesome.
But
fantasy-wise, we're always buying into Josh Allen.
I think it's a little hard for me to completely buy in, especially after week 2 when he played the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
And it was such a close game. And the Dolphins are not good.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Who'd they play last week? Thursday Night Football?
The Dolphins, they played the Jaguars, and
They
they looked really good. The Dolphins did, but again, they played the Jaguars, so I mean, nothing fancy there.
Allen Robinson back on track. Good to see that. I just got him traded to me from Ricky himself.
Terrible trade.
Yes, I'm sorry about that one, but he's back on track. I mean, he's been getting his targets throughout every game, but he hasn't had a big game since. He hasn't had a big game until this last week. 10 receptions, 123 yards, and a touchdown. Dalvin Cook with a career day in Minnesota, 181 yards, 1 touchdown. Not a 200-yard game?
No.
Really?
No
never
receiving
had a 200
yards. No, this was a career high in rush yards for him. It's a little tough because Minnesota has been absolutely terrible first 3 weeks, but they've got the players to
He looked good. He looked
make
fast.
an impact, yeah. But I mean, a lot of the things I'm seeing, they're going to have to be in shootouts. And can you rely on Dalvin Cook to get 180 yards every single game when they have to be in shootout games where you'll probably have to be throwing the ball and Kirk Cousins is the guy throwing the football for you?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Dalvin Cook, always a good fantasy player to have, but can we count on 180 yards every week? Probably not.
Right. Justin Jefferson with the breakout game, 7 receptions, 175 yards, and a touchdown. Justin Jefferson, I wanted to pick him up on fantasy. Who stole him? You did?
Yes.
Sucks.
In both the leagues that I'm in, I think it's a very good pickup.
Yeah, no joke. I wanted him. Really bad. I thought he had 2 touchdowns.
Nope, just the one. And that 71-yard touchdown pass.
Okay.
Just a bomb.
Kirk Cousins slings the ball. He throws it around.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, when that's going to have to be how you get stuff going. He's not a bad pickup at all.
Again, Atlanta blow the 16-point lead to fall to 0-3. Allow fourth quarter touchdown. Very happy for that. Calvin Ridley steps up in the absence of Julio.
News on Julio, just saw. He is back in practice, so not a foregone conclusion he's going to play, but if you have him on your roster, definitely keep an eye on him because obviously it's Julio. You want him in your lineup.
Yep. Sure do. Who was the running back that did well for him?
Benny Hill?
Benny Hill? Yeah, he came
Something like that, yeah.
He had a breakout game.
It was definitely not... Well, I mean, in the layout of all the running backs this year, Benny Hill might not be a terrible pickup.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something you want to put in your lineup right away, but have on your bench is pretty
Right,
cool.
yeah.
Russell Gage Jr. left with a concussion. Ouch, didn't know about that one.
I did. He was on my other fantasy team.
Was he?
Plugged him in for Julio. Out first quarter.
That's no good. Concussions are never good to see, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Concussion can ruin not just a career, but, you know. What else do we got here? We got a blowout Giants, 36-9 despite injuries. San Francisco blowout Giants. I see what you're writing here. Just saying words. Nick Mullins, don't know who that is, but cool. 343 yards, huh?
Yeah, backing up Jimmy Garoppolo, looking like a real stud.
Heck yeah, cool.
I mean, he played the Giants, but looking like a real stud.
Yep. With Saquon out, ouch, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
what are you going to do? McKinnon, Ayuk, Wilson Jr., 1 rushing touchdown each. All on San Francisco.
Yeah, all the backup running backs.
That sucks, dude.
McKinnon did get hurt, so the whole running back situation in San Francisco is...
Who are you going to pick out of those?
Well, we'll get to that later.
Oh, okay. New England, Rex Burkhead breakout game. That was cool to see.
Yeah.
He had a running touchdown, jumping over the guy and stuff.
Yeah.
I like seeing that. 49 rush yards, 49 receiving yards.
Yep, very consistent, you know.
Yes. 2 rushing touchdowns and a receiving touchdown. Wow, okay.
Yeah, not something you can count on, I don't think, though.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T, Burkhead. Okay, St. Louis versus... that's not right. St. Louis? St. Louis
Steelers.
Rams?
Sorry.
Okay.
Don't know. STL. It means steel, you know?
Steelers versus Tennessee. Postponed. Could be Monday, Tuesday. Bye. Update. Oh, these two teams are on the bye.
Yes, so...
I know that because my Tennessee tight end is out, and who am I going to play?
Yeah.
Gotta get someone off the bench. I guess I could go Jimmy Graham, but...
You should, but...
He's playing Indianapolis.
Yeah, that's a tough matchup.
Yeah.
So, a little bit on that. Tennessee Titans had people test positive for COVID.
Ooh.
So, obviously, you got to start shutting stuff down, try to get everybody cleared. Also put the Minnesota Vikings in a tough spot. They came back with no positive tests, which is a good thing, especially for myself. But they were looking at making it a Monday night or Tuesday night game. Turns out they're just not playing at all this week. They are having a bye, so if you've got anybody on your roster from the Steelers or the Titans, take them out.
I thought it was a bye.
Yeah, they're making it a bye week.
Okay.
So they're just shifting around bye weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Kind of unfortunate for me, but I had Antonio Brown too.
Oh.
No, yeah.
Not Antonio Brown.
Yeah,
no.
Antonio Brown. Telling you.
Antonio Brown isn't...
I know who you're thinking of.
Different Antonio Brown?
Yeah, it's different.
You think it's not just AJ Brown?
It might be AJ.
Pretty sure it's AJ Brown.
All right. New York Jets looking on to move out from a head coach.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, so...
They always move through head coaches.
Yeah, and...
New York Jets, remember the defense with Revis Island? That's what I remember. Now we're at a New York Jets team looking to move on to head coaches.
Adam Gase, head coach.
Adam Gase. Okay.
Adam Gase, terrible head coach.
Really?
NFL GMs,
Not
if you're listening to this at all, you're not. But if you are, don't sign Adam Gase to anything. Don't let him be a head coach. Don't let him be an offensive coordinator. Everybody who moves on...
he's doing it for free.
No, see, everybody who moves on from Adam Gase has great success.
Maybe that's their thing.
When they're not with Adam Gase.
They're like, all right, let's put Adam Gase in so we'll have great success afterwards.
Possibly.
Think about that one.
But they do play Denver, so if... we'll get to that later. That's tough.
Ooh, lots of top performers coming up. Fantasy-wise, it looks like. And,
yes.
I mean, big breakout games. Pat Mahomes, Alvin Kamara, Tyler Lockett, Jimmy Graham, Colts defense, Steven Gostkowski even.
Yes.
He brought a kicker in here.
Oh,
we're talking about kickers on this
show
some
some fun news with Steven Gostkowski. If you watched, what was it, week 1 against the Broncos?
Botched a few kicks.
A lot of kicks, and he's known as Mr. Consistency.
Yes, Bonkowski is what I call him. Mr. Bonk, man.
Oh, man. Pun day today. But when asked after this game, because he went, 6 for 6, made 3 30-yard field goals and 3 50-yard field goals, went 1 for 1 on extra points. When asked what his secret was, how he turned it around, he said he stopped wearing socks in his cleats.
Ooh.
Barefooting in the cleats.
Wouldn't that hurt? Ouch.
But, now they have COVID. Maybe not wearing socks gives you COVID.
Hey, Brazilian soccer players don't wear socks.
Fair
Correlation? Maybe.
Fair enough.
Jimmy Graham, good to see that, honestly. He has had a rough season with the Green Bay Packers. He was really only good on the Saints, honestly. Seattle Seahawks, he was on that team for a while, didn't do well. So it was good to see him bounce back, honestly.
Well,
I hope he keeps it up because he was so good on the Saints.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
I think with the quarterback change and Nick Foles, because you look at the first few weeks, I think he had maybe 3 targets.
Okay.
Not a lot of production at all. Nick Foles comes in, 6 catches, 60 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think every pass catcher on this team now has value with Nick Foles as their quarterback.
Maybe he's a better.
He's a quarterback. Mitch Trubisky's not a quarterback.
Yeah.
Sorry to the Bears fan, but Mitch Trubisky is awful.
Could have had Pat Mahomes.
Hindsight's 2020.
Pat Mahomes, 385 yards, almost 400 yards, crazy. 4 touchdowns, 26 rushing yards, rushing touchdown. It looks like 40+ fantasy points. I think it was 50 something, honestly.
In our league. Our league's a little different. We play bonuses, which if you're gonna do fantasy football, you might as well put bonuses in there. Makes it a lot more interesting.
Russell Wilson, boo.
Let him cook.
Just kidding. Russell Wilson's awesome. 315 yards, 5 touchdowns, 22 rushing yards, 36.8 fantasy points. Josh Allen, your man, 311 yards. He had an interception and a fumble.
Yeah, that's something that...
He throws interceptions.
Yeah, and that's what makes me hesitant to buy into him fully.
Yeah, me too.
Especially when the first 3 weeks...
Who was their quarterback in the past? Was it? I forget his name. He's
Josh Peterson or something like that.
No, it was their good one. Was with it was a while ago.
I don't remember a good Bills quarterback. Maybe I'm too young to remember a Bills quarterback, but
he was on. Isn't he on here?
Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor. Yeah, Tyrod Taylor.
He wasn't very good either.
He threw touchdowns. I put him on my fantasy team.
Bad news.
Yeah. Who's in? They're with the New England Patriots, aren't they? In their division.
Yes.
Ugh,
which, honestly.
So that's kind of tough. They gotta win wild cards. You never know.
I don't think the Patriots do better than the Bills this year. That's my hot take. Never been a huge believer in Cam Newton.
After he lost that Super Bowl, that's when I kind of was like, all right.
Well, good news for me, being a Broncos fan. Something you just love to see.
Yeah.
Let's see, some more people. Tyler Lockett, obviously.
You skipped over Alvin Kamara. Shouldn't we talk about him all day?
No. Alvin Kamara, one of the things that let this guy beat me over here last week. Not just beat me. It was, 205 to 120. He absolutely slaughtered me.
Having a good season so far.
Well,
Alvin Kamara's good.
Good for you.
Thank you.
58 rush yards, 13 receptions, 139 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns.
That one touchdown, that receiving touchdown, where he ran through the entire defense?
Yes.
That was just poor tackling.
Yeah, and
It's a different league nowadays, but that was poor tackling.
I mean, what a weapon for Drew Brees to have.
Yes.
He can throw a 2-yard completion and it turned into an 80-yard touchdown. Yeah, you don't have to throw it deep.
And the defense has to look for it all the time. Makes it hard. Spread the defense out.
Yeah. I mean, you wonder why he's got the highest career completion percentage. It's because he's got guys like Alvin Kamara who can throw the ball to for 2 yards and, they take it to the house. Yeah. Definitely a help.
Tyler Lockett, back to him.
Yes, 9 catches, 100 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
He's always been good.
I mean, this offense is just ridiculous. I mean, do they really need a running back with the way that Russell Wilson is playing? I mean, eventually, probably, But
I don't know.
When you've got Russell Wilson throwing for 5 touchdowns every single game, and you got guys like Tyler Lockett, 3 touchdowns. DK Metcalf, he's not on this top performers list, but I mean, also a stud. I mean, you don't need to run the ball that much.
Yeah, he's cool. Keenan Allen, haven't heard his name in a while.
Well,
big game.
Another quarterback change benefiting your receiving core. Definitely the case in Los Angeles for the Chargers. I mean, he had 13 catches, 132 yards, and a touchdown. Cool. 19 targets.
Cool.
You get the ball thrown to you 19 times, you're going to produce fantasy points.
Yep.
Definitely a pickup. I mean, he's rostered on like 98% of leagues, so you're probably not going to get him, but if you can, or try to trade for him, there's a lot of people you can move around this year that have potential but haven't done anything that you can try to move around to get him on your roster.
Mm-hmm. I could use a wide receiver. All mine are hurt. Jim Graham, talked about him. Tyler Croft. We got 4 receptions, 24 yards. I know Eric Ebron.
Yep.
Tyler Croft. Slip in my mind.
Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo, okay.
Definitely not a pickup move.
Just
before this week, I think he had 2 catches.
And only 4 receptions.
Yeah, 4 receptions for 24 yards. Without 2 touchdowns, that's like, what, a 6-point game. I mean, he's not an elite tight end at this time.
Mason Crosby, huh? Jake Elliott. My kicker got hurt, too. When does that happen?
Yeah.
He's literally doubtful. I had to go pick up a kicker.
Very funny. I watch the fantasy footballers on YouTube, and they like to make fun of hamstring injuries, especially when it comes to kickers.
On the back here.
They said, one of the guys said, well, it's really hard to play with a real hamstring injury. And one of the other guys goes, what do you mean a real hamstring injury? If it's a hamstring injury, it's real, right? And he's like, well, you got kickers who, they just say, I got a hamstring injury, and then they're like, but I'm so tough, I'm going to play through it. That's not a real hamstring injury. So, kickers being injured, I don't understand how it happens, but apparently it does.
And it did. Unfortunate. We got busts now. Those were the top performers. I'm sure you know about them. These are the less known.
Brought to you by Kitty Litter.
Yes.
Some busts this week.
What do we got? Gardner Minshew, he was supposed to have a big game.
Well,
people are big on him too.
I've
never been big on Gardner Minshew.
I bought into Gardner Minshew for a... oh man, I don't know why. So, I mean, it was the Dolphins and the Jaguars. 2 defenses that are absolutely garbage. And, so I plugged in Gardner Minshew. Thought it was going to be a good game.
Garbage is a harsh word, but...
those 2 teams. Yes. 275 yards. That seems respectable, but no touchdowns, an interception, a fumble. Let's move on from Gardner Minshew.
Cam Newton and Matt Ryan have bad games. Matt Ryan has been playing well, but he played the Bears, so... I mean, poor guy had tough defense to go against.
Both the guys didn't have bad games. I mean, just not super productive games. New England was in that game pretty much the whole time.
Okay.
the Falcons, I mean, again, they're the Falcons,
Yeah.
but played very, very well in the first half. Had Matt Ryan and that offense continue to do what they did the first half, Matt Ryan has a Russell Wilson type of game. But, yeah, no, he did not, and the Falcons are terrible.
Ooh, Mark Ingram, Melvin Gorman, and both had a bad game?
Yeah.
Mark Ingram was good. Melvin Gordon's been good. He hasn't been good on the Denver Broncos, probably, though.
I mean, of course I watch the Broncos weekly, but...
Does he share touches or something?
Not anymore. Phillip Lindsay's been out a couple of weeks, so when he comes back, they'll obviously be splitting carries, but the Denver offensive line, it looks like they do pretty well run blocking, but they can't protect the quarterback at all.
Okay.
And Melvin Gordon hasn't looked terrible, but when you get down by a lot of points and you're trying to play back into a game, you're throwing the ball more. So, I mean, obviously your production is going to go down. With Mark Ingram, the entire Baltimore offense was pretty stagnant on Monday night. I mean,
saw that game.
That seems like that's the story. Every time
kind of a shootout, though, at the end.
Not really. I mean, they lost by 2 touchdowns.
Ooh, okay.
And
I
think Lamar Jackson, he is obviously a good quarterback, MVP last year. But I think he just gets into his head every time they play Kansas City because he's just never beat Pat Mahomes. And Pat Mahomes is
Andy Reid's the head coach at Kansas City, too. Andy Reid's a great coach.
Yeah. I mean, that whole team, that's a dynasty right there. That's the next Patriots.
You think so?
I do.
I don't know about that. They do have Andy Reid, though, and he put Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl a few times, I think.
Yeah.
He's a good coach. I like him. Always had good defenses. Blitz heavy.
Yeah.
What else? He's just good coach.
He's developing young talent
into... He turned Kansas City into a good team.
Yeah. I mean, they were decent before with Alex Smith. You bring in Andy Reid. You make the move from Alex Smith to Pat Mahomes. And
you didn't see something in him, I guess.
The rest is history.
Yeah, cool.
You know?
I like Andy Reid. Marquise Brown, Julian Edelman, and T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton, shucks. That Indianapolis Colts still?
He's just having a tough year.
Is he?
I mean, if you're somebody that has T.Y. Hilton...
A lot of people
do. Do you hit the panic button after the first 3 weeks? Or do you hold on to him, trust that the chemistry with the Colts and the new quarterback, Phillip Rivers, all of that's going to start meshing and T.Y. Hilton's going to start playing well? Or do you panic and look to move him out?
I'm hitting the panic button because I've had T.Y. Hilton a few times, and even when he had his good years, he still got injured a few times.
I mean...
He missed a few games.
Week 2, he would have been a top 15 receiver, but he dropped a 40-yard touchdown. I mean, I'm not hitting the panic button on him, but he's definitely one you want to watch. And if you give him a couple more weeks, probably... if it doesn't get any better, you probably hit the panic button, you probably toss him.
Now we got tight ends, Darren Waller, Mark Andrews, Evan Ingram.
Yeah.
Another trade.
So Evan Ingram was a part of our trade.
Yep.
Didn't start him because I also have Tyler Higbee, who had a 3-touchdown game, and then he was also a bust. Not on the list. Darren Waller I put on for the bust, obviously because he had 2 catches for 9 yards. Awful. But especially a person of Darren Waller's status, and he goes out and only has 2 catches for 9 yards. That's uncharacteristic. I mean, especially after last week, had such a good game, and went out there and pretty much put up a goose egg. If you had Darren Waller, you were very disappointed this last week.
Defenses, we got Saints, Cowboys, Bills. Cowboys had a bad... Didn't they win?
No.
They didn't win. Oh, they played the Seahawks. That was a good game. That was a fun game.
Yeah.
If you guys were watching, that was fun to watch.
Yeah.
That was a shootout. Dak had a great game.
And I mean, if you have a defense that's playing against a Seahawks, a Cowboys, a Buffalo Bills, don't play them. Go out and get somebody else because those games are going to be shootouts just because of the offensive firepower that all those teams have.
So you're saying you wouldn't pick up any of these defenses for fantasy?
I'm not saying that. Obviously, if you look at like the Cowboys, they had 4 sacks.
Mm-hmm.
Any other game where the team doesn't put up 400 yards and 38 points, 4 sacks for your defense is great. I mean, the Cowboys aren't a terrible defense. I'm not saying that. But when they're playing a team like the Seahawks, yeah, don't play. All right. Moving on to waivers. This is
waivers.
fun.
Yes.
So, especially this year with all of the injuries, COVID happening, and, I mean, we see it this week. Titans and the Steelers.
We got some fans.
Not happening.
Like, what's up, fans?
You have to be watching the waiver because you're going to have to find somebody to pick up and plug in, even if it's just week to week. So my waiver pickups this week, Ryan Fitzpatrick, not as your complete starting quarterback, because he's Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Matchup based,
Yes. He's averaging 18.3 points per week, which in fantasy standards, that's solid weeks. If your quarterback's getting you 18 to 20, 25 points, you've got a good quarterback. He's playing Seattle, who gives up an average of 31.67 fantasy points to quarterbacks per week. I like the matchup, especially when last week he had 17.5 fantasy points. The guy is just slinging because he doesn't care. I mean, if he's not out there slinging, they've got Tua Tagovailoa. They can just put him in there, you know? So Fitzpatrick's just going to go out and have fun.
Yep. And
if stuff starts not falling his way, then...
And he has a great beard.
Yeah, the beard game is...
Strong.
Definitely on point. And he's only 12.3% rostered, so in most every league, you're going to be able to pick him up. At least to just put him on your bench, plug him in on a good matchup. I like that pickup.
By weeks.
Yeah.
If you got Russell Wilson there.
Exactly.
Or Patty Mahomes.
Another one, little shaky on it because he only played...
I don't know.
2.5 quarters, but
he's a Bears player.
Yeah, Nick Foles. 14.1 fantasy points last week. 3 touchdowns in the relief of Mitch Trubisky.
Mm-hmm.
And he could be more of a long-term, you know. Like I said, I think him coming into this offense helps out the pass catchers and will make their offense better. But... I heard both hosts no, Wyatt, we cannot. Anyway, he's a guy that I think can come in and throughout the season can be a solid starter for you. Not this week. I don't think this week you should play him. If you do pick him up, he's playing the Colts, who have 6 interceptions over the first 3 weeks. That's a bad matchup, in my opinion. But he's only 7.7% rostered, so again, probably easily accessible in either, like, any of your leagues. I mean, he wasn't a starter, so obviously nobody has him.
Mm-hmm.
Might be a steal of a pickup. Jared Goff.
I like Jared Goff.
Again, not a fantastic fantasy quarterback by any means, but... he scored 16.5 points last week. He averages 20 a week. And in the Bills game...
How's the run game for him?
First half...
How's their run game this year?
A little banged up.
Is it?
You know, you got... But they do have Darrell Henderson, I believe his name is, and he went off last week. So they have options. I mean, obviously... They're not the the Rams of old with Todd Gurley,
right.
But he's got options.
2 tight end sets. running all the time.
Yeah. But in this last game, he led 4 straight touchdown drives against the Bills. They did ultimately lose. But if you're having to lead 4 touchdown drives per game, that might make your fantasy points go up. He is 45% rostered, which means he's a little tougher to get. But, I mean, I wouldn't go out and put all your chips in on Jared Goff. If he's available and you got a spot open, I could see plugging him in for sure. You got Carlos Hyde for running backs. 5.1 fantasy points is what he is projected this week. But Chris Carson, like I said, I think he's going to be out this week. And nice, there we
go. He was so good for San Francisco. Granted, San Francisco is a run first team, always has been, but he was the 3 down back and he was good.
Well, and
he's not old. Is he old?
No.
Yeah,
he's relatively middle of his 20s, I believe. But
I'm big on Carlos Hyde.
The system that they run, the Seahawks that is, it complements the way Carlos Hyde runs the football.
Cool.
And it's designed to get the running back involved. Now, with them letting Russ just throw the ball all over the place, it's... Oh, my Lord. It's kind of tough to trust, especially a backup running back. But Carlos Hyde fits, and he's definitely a good pickup, especially for a Chris Carson owner, myself. Did not pick him up, though.
Should have picked him up instead of the wide receiver.
No.
Jefferson is his name?
Yeah.
That was who I was going to pick up. Guess who I got instead?
Carlos Hyde?
Yeah.
There you go. And he's only 25% owned, so...
Would way rather have the wide receiver from Minnesota.
So would you rather have a backup running back for a team that's going to play week to week, or a rookie wide receiver who just had a huge game? The coach has said he wants to get him more involved. I would rather have the guy who's going to get more involved.
Right.
Yeah.
And Stephon Diggs was on the Minnesota team last year, and he was huge for him.
Kind of the role that they want Justin Jefferson to take
over,
is that role of Stephon Diggs. And if we see anything last week, he definitely was a part of that.
Cool.
So, Jeff Wilson Jr. So, we talked about the messy running back situation in San Francisco.
Yes.
You have Raheem Mostert.
Right.
Jerick McKinnon.
Yep.
And Tevin Coleman.
Ooh, Tevin Coleman's still there.
Yep. And Mostert. So here's what makes Jeff Wilson kind of a hard play. Is Raheem Mostert is week to week. There's a possibility he'll play this week. There's a higher possibility he'll play next week. And if he does come in, he's obviously going to be their number one guy. But, I mean, it's a knee injury. So do you push him or do you let him sit? I think they're going to let him sit at least this week, possibly next week. And Jeff Wilson Jr. had 21.9 fantasy points last week. I think he had somewhere around 20 touches. And with all 3 of these running backs out, his production is just going to go up because they want to run the football. They want to get the ball into the running back's hands. That's how their offense works. And they have a backup quarterback. So they're going to lean on the running game more. I think Jeff Wilson's a good pickup. 24% rostered. That if I was to pick up a running back, it would be Jeff Wilson Jr. And then Myles Gaskin.
Miami, right?
Yep. I already have him.
You do?
And looks like I'm going to have to play him this week.
Yeah, you should. I would if I were.
He is a definite, flex to running back 2 player.
Good for buys.
Just because he is the guy who's going to get the touches. He's going to be touching the ball, and when you get that many touches, eventually it'll turn into fantasy points.
How are his receiving touches? You don't have him?
I don't. I just have that he had 27 touches in the last game.
Because we're in PPR, and I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he can come out of the backfield and catch a pass.
And he does. I know that he is a receiving option, and if you watched the game against Jacksonville, he was running the ball, he was catching the ball, like he was all over the field. He was the main playmaker in my eyes for that offense. Definitely a good pickup. Not a running back one, but with the way the running back situation is for everybody, if you don't have Myles Gaskin and you can get him, definitely pick him up.
Justin Jefferson. We don't need to talk about him.
I am in love with Justin Jefferson. I mean, it is now Thursday, and I looked at him on Monday. Yeah, Monday. He was only 33% owned by Monday. It is now Thursday, and he's 63% owned. Obviously, a big game. People are going to chase the numbers, and you don't want to stat chase. But when you have the head coach saying, hey, I want to get this guy more involved, the game, when he says that, he gets him more involved, 7 catches, 175 yards, and a touchdown, you have to buy into that.
Yeah, and Stephon Diggs role to fill.
Yeah.
Curtis Samuel. T. Higgins, Bengals, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Chemistry with Joe Burrow, huh?
Yeah, they just week to week to week, T. Higgins is getting more and more and more targets. He's not a breakout stud at this point, but I think as the year goes on,
he could do something big for the team.
I mean, he averages 21 points a game.
And AJ Green hasn't.
Yeah. AJ Green. If you have AJ Green,
I dropped him.
Yeah, I would let that go.
Yeah.
It's hard because it's
AJ
AJ Green.
Yeah. He probably lost a step.
But
you never know.
I mean, he just hasn't been productive.
Yeah,
and
I drafted him. I was big on him, but nope. This is cool. One
other player I want to talk about. Tight end for the Indianapolis Colts. He's not their starting tight end, which would make you think, oh, why would I pick up a second string tight end for a team? Mo Alley Cox. He is 6'6", 260 pounds. He gets more targets than Jack Doyle, who is the starter for the Colts, and he's playing with Phillip Rivers.
A sleeper here. I like Phillip Rivers.
Phillip
Rivers had Antonio Gates too.
I like Phillip Rivers throwing to a tight end.
Yeah.
Hence him and Antonio Gates. And Mo Alley Cox, a former basketball player. Guess who else was a former basketball player? Antonio Gates. I like this connection. I like the way it looks, and I like the way it's trending. If you don't have Mo Alley Cox, go get him. He's only 15% rostered.
Get him now. If you don't, you're a loser.
You might not start him right away, but I am. I'm starting him this week. I like it.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're going to start him.
I'm going for it, and I see that my mom is watching. I play my mom this week. Look out. I'm coming for you.
I don't know. Mama Bear Larson.
All right. Now a segment called Higher or Lower. This one's a little fun.
Yes.
Going to give you a number and a player, who he's playing. You're going to tell me higher or lower. Whatever you think is going to be that. So.
No ties. Higher or lower.
Yep. You can't go right on what the number is. You got to go higher or lower. And
pick some good numbers.
It ends up being in the middle. Well, you're SOL.
You're asking, I'm answering? Or are we both answering?
I mean, we're both going to answer.
Okay.
And we're going to keep track of this. Next week, we'll look at it, see that I beat Brock and everything. And okay, so Josh Allen, 3 touchdowns versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Higher or lower?
He had 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns is a big game, dude. Are you talking rushing and?
Yeah, just total touchdowns. Josh Allen 3.
I'll go higher.
You're going higher. I am highly conflicted with this. The
I would
Raiders...
say 3 touchdowns is what he's going to get.
The Raiders are very good against quarterbacks. They are ranked 7th against quarterbacks in fantasy.
The Raiders.
It's hard. I'm going to go ahead and say higher as well. I mean, it's
Josh Allen.
It's Josh Allen. The way he's playing,
yeah.
that's just routine for him. 3 touchdowns. And to run in for a touchdown as well. I mean, I think it's going to be higher. The Denver Broncos versus the New York Jets. Overall score combined 40 points.
Why are we even talking about this
higher or
game?
lower?
We shouldn't be talking about this game, but 40 points, 20 points each.
I'm going lower.
You're going lower?
I think that, I mean, as a Broncos fan...
I haven't watched any Broncos games. That's unfair.
Awful.
This is unfair. Rigged.
It's awful, okay?
Rigged.
The only reason we're talking about it is because it's 2 teams that are not good.
Oh,
As a
okay.
Broncos fan, I'm saying they're not good, okay? And we're on our 3rd string quarterback.
Okay. Le'Veon Bell, is he playing for the New York Jets?
No, he is out.
Okay.
They're starting running back, Frank Gore.
Frank Gore is
Yeah.
40.
Yeah, so higher or lower 40 points.
I'll go lower too.
I'm going to go lower as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's going to be a breakout game for both kickers. You know, I think they're going to...
Is Matt Prater still kicking for Denver?
No.
He's
Brandon
long
McManus.
now.
Yes.
Okay.
Dalvin
I like
Cook.
Matt Prater. Actually, Denver kickers do well because of the stadium.
Well, I think they're playing in New York. They're playing at East Rutherford. So, yeah, I just think if the teams are going to score, it's going to be because they get in field goal range and then can't finish the drive, can't get a touchdown, per usual with both of these teams.
Okay.
So
Jets, Jets.
I think it's going to be
Jets.
field goal fest.
Cool. Dalvin Cook rushes 125 yards versus Houston. Lower.
You're going lower?
Going lower.
125 yards is a lot of yards.
Right.
They're playing Houston. It's going to be a shootout, I imagine.
Okay. And Dalvin Cook hasn't had that great of a year.
I mean, he just had 181 yards on the ground.
But
I'm going to say lower as well. I mean, I think he could get to 125. I don't think he's going to go over that at all. But...
yeah, I don't think he's going to go over 125.
yeah, I'm going lower as well. Russell Wilson throws 5 touchdowns versus Miami.
You know, he, over 5 touchdowns.
Over 5 touchdowns.
Lower.
You're going lower. I'm going to go higher.
Okay.
They're playing Miami. Again, Miami is a terrible defense. Russell Wilson, great quarterback. I mean, at least 5 touchdowns each week. Playing decent competition. Now he's playing Miami. I think he maybe even ties the record for touchdowns in a game. I think he gets 7.
Is that Drew Brees' record or something?
Peyton Manning, a few other quarterbacks have 7. So I think he ties the record. The Rams defense against the New York Giants forces 3 turnovers.
Definitely lower.
Lower?
Yep.
I am also going higher on this.
You're getting risky here, man.
The Giants are terrible.
Yes,
They have Daniel Jones throwing the football. Daniel Jones himself, I think, throws 3 interceptions. And I think they force fumbles.
All right. Whatever you say.
That's what I'm going with.
You're getting risky.
Well,
Got risky,
you got to be risky. It's higher or lower.
Right.
It's Vegas in the kitchen, okay?
I should have been risky with the first one, but whatever.
Well, can't change it.
Yep, nope. We're locked in.
All right, so top performer predictions this week, which this first one makes it hard on me because I also have Josh Allen. But Aaron Rodgers versus Atlanta. I think he absolutely slaughters them. I don't think he has Devontae Adams back, but he does have Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
I need Devontae Adams to be back.
I think he's got Allen Lazard. He's got a lot of weapons.
Is Adam Lazard still on the waiver wire in our league?
No. He is not.
Messed up. Went for
good old
Jefferson.
Uncle Jay got Alan Lazard. I was trying to pick him up and couldn't find him. Found him on his bench.
There you go. Aaron Rodgers versus Atlanta, top performers. Nice.
Yeah, and Atlanta has the 32nd ranked passing defense.
Do they?
Which,
Not
in
good.
case you don't know how many teams are in the NFL, that's dead last.
I thought there was 33. That's awkward.
I will I will let you take this one since he is your guy.
Yes. Alvin Kamara versus Detroit. Wait, why do you have Aaron Jones here? He's
Because
irrelevant.
I am comparing this, okay? So Alvin Kamara is playing Detroit. When
Right.
Aaron Jones played Detroit, he had 3 touchdowns, over 200 yards.
Okay.
So Alvin Kamara, I think...
Detroit, I'm not big on them. Granted, they're NFC North team, so...
Yeah.
Alvin
a little bias
Kamara,
there.
yes, a little bias. Alvin Kamara's been doing great. Who's on the Detroit defense anyway?
Exactly.
They don't have anybody.
Who is the Detroit defense?
Who is the Detroit Lions in general?
Yes. Who are
Matt
the
Stafford.
Detroit Lions?
He can throw sidearm guys. Watch out.
I mean, Kenny Galladay, too. I mean, offensively, you got some weapons.
Remember Megatron or whatever his name was?
Yeah.
Calvin Johnson.
I mean, and Detroit, notorious for having some of the best players of all time and still doing nothing. All right. Tyler Lockett versus Miami. We talked about
Right.
Russell Wilson.
Shootout.
Yeah.
Apparently he's going to throw for the record.
Yeah. I say 7 touchdowns. I say at least another 3 to Tyler Lockett. I think Tyler Lockett absolutely torches this defense. I think all of the pass catchers for Seattle torch this defense. But
Nice.
Tyler Lockett obviously is the number 1 guy for Russell Wilson, so I see him being the top wide receiver this week. Mark Andrews for
Aaron
Baltimore.
Andrews' husband. Just kidding.
Yeah, I don't. We don't have fact check yet, so coming soon.
We all know Aaron Andrews, I think.
So Mark Andrews obviously did not have a good week. The whole Baltimore offense did not have a good week. But I think he bounces back because he's playing the Washington football team. Man, that is such a weird thing to say. The
Yeah.
Washington football team.
Oh, well. What are you going to do?
Yeah, very weird. Mark Andrews, though, I mean, he's had a couple big weeks already, and he's playing a terrible defense. I mean, not terrible. They have Chase Young. He's a stud, but...
Hopefully you get some touchdowns.
Yeah, I think that's the move there.
That's big with tight ends. They get touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean, red zone,
Right.
Mark
Big guys.
Andrews, whole way, I think.
Cool. Defense, Rams.
Yep.
Going, against the Giants.
Yeah. And as I said earlier,
Right.
I think the Rams just steal the ball, like taking candy from a baby type of thing.
Who's the big guy for the Rams defense?
Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully he gets some strip stacks for you, or else you're going to lose that one.
I don't think I'm losing that one at all. All right, time for buy or sell. Little like higher or lower, but you got to buy it or you got to sell it.
Let's do... Okay, never mind.
Brock's wheels are turning.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, let's do this thing.
Amari Cooper has 15 points this week. He has 13 points in each of the last 3 weeks. So do you think he gets 15 this week?
Who's he playing?
The Cowboys. That is a good question. Who are the Cowboys playing?
You have it somewhere. I know you do.
Let's see. I don't have it somewhere. Oh, man, look at us. Bush League right here. Bush League.
Bush League.
We're going to look that up.
Yep. I got Dak Prescott. So
I mean-
it's easy. It's a flick away.
15 fantasy points. Especially 13. I mean, talk about
Cleveland.
consistency. Yeah, they play Cleveland, okay?
15 points. Who has Dak been throwing to then?
He's been throwing to new guy, CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah. And
I heard he was pretty good.
their new tight end, Dalton Schultz.
Dalton Schultz. Huh?
Been getting a lot of touches, but again, they run the ball quite a bit too.
15 points. I'm going to go with the stats here and sell.
You're going to sell that? I mean, talk about consistency. 13 points each week. But I don't think he sticks to that. I think he gets a touchdown this game along with his catches. I'm going to go buy. I'm buying that.
That's a good one. That could go either way.
Yeah. Devontae Parker for Miami. Top 20 receiver versus Seattle this week.
Top 20. We got Devontae Adams out. So, there's one. I don't even know who Devontae Parker is.
He's pretty much the main receiver for Miami.
No, I remember
Seattle
Jarvis Landry.
Seattle doesn't have a very good pass defense either.
Yeah.
And with Fitzpatrick slinging the ball around.
Also, you better buy on this one, then.
Yeah?
Yeah, you better buy and also.
Why are you telling me what to do? I'm not going to buy that. I'm selling that this week.
You're selling? Okay.
I'm selling. I mean, it's a good thought, but top 20, I just don't see that happening, especially if Julio plays this week as well.
You left caps lock on. Sorry, man. But...
Oh, my God. I left cap locks on for everything I've written.
Yeah, you did. I'm selling, too.
You're going to sell it?
Write that. Still caps lock.
Darrell Henderson. So, yes, who the Rams running back was. Darrell Henderson.
Okay.
120 total yards versus the Giants. He had a 100-yard game last week. Not 120 yards, but a 100-yard game. Plus, I believe he had a catch.
I'm selling again.
You're going to sell it? You know, the way he played last week, the defense he's playing.
You're buying?
I'm going to buy that. Yeah. I think honestly, this is a league right now that has awful defenses.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say. I mean, teams that normally have a good defense don't have good defenses. The only time you see a good defense really this year is if the matchup is good. Except for the Kansas City Chiefs. Those guys are studs all the way around. DK Metcalf.
4 catches and a touchdown?
Yep.
Definitely buying on that.
That's been his stat line weeks 1 through 3.
Really?
Is 4 catches and a touchdown.
I'm buying that.
You're going to buy that. I'm going to sell because I think he's going to get more catches.
Okay.
And
that's my risk.
Possibly.
That's my only risk I think I've ever done.
Possibly more touchdowns.
Where are we again? Cleveland Browns? Or no. DK Metcalf.
They're playing Miami.
Miami. Okay, yeah, you're probably going to get that one.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Some of the best matchups this week. You can go ahead.
Aaron Rodgers. Hate to see it. But he is facing Atlanta, and that's a good matchup for him. Like you said, 32nd in passing.
Yep. They give up an average of 38 points to quarterbacks, 31 points to wide receivers, and 14.5 points to tight ends. I think they're...
It's probably from those comebacks, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
But... They're up a bunch, and then they got to toss it around.
Yeah. I think... Aaron Rodgers is kind of a risky best matchup. I like him for, the first half. But I see them blowing them out.
You think he'll be number 1 quarterback?
I don't. I just like the matchup.
Okay.
And the only reason I don't see him as maybe the top quarterback this week is because I think they get up on Atlanta by a lot and then run the ball for a majority of the second half.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. But again, it's Atlanta. They've got a very good offense.
Yeah.
So
I'm tired of the Packers. I thought they were going to lose last.
Oh, man.
It was such a close game.
The Packers just find a way to get it done.
Yeah, they always do. Alvin Kamara versus Detroit. Heck yeah. Worst matchup. Well, okay. You got 23 points to running backs.
Yep. Detroit gives up 23 points to running backs.
And he had 50 last week. Remember that.
They give up an average of 146 rushing yards per game to running backs and 38 rushing yards per game or receiving yards per game to running backs.
Heck yeah.
So, again, I think Alvin Kamara just walks all over him.
Cool. Worst matchup, Daniel Jones, the quarterback.
Yep.
Okay, good.
For the Giants,
Yep.
playing the Rams, like I said, I think the Rams are going to hold them down and tickle them silly.
Tickle them.
Yeah. I think they're going to just murder the Giants.
I like tickle better. Miles Sanders versus the San Francisco 49ers. Not the baseball team, the Giants. That's what I was thinking.
This is a football podcast. Miles Sanders, he's done really well this year. But San Francisco, even with all their injuries, is still one of the top defenses. I don't see him getting a whole lot of yardage. He'll probably get a lot of the carries, but the Eagles' offense is also awful. Carson Wentz. I mean, I'm to the point with the Eagles' offense, I would just throw in Jalen Hurts. Not going to hurt. I mean...
Well, they got rid of Andy Reid. I'm telling you, Andy Reid's a good...
Yeah, I think...
He's a good coach.
And
they had, what's his name, the Oregon coach. You know what I'm talking about when they did that super fast offense? Got rid of him, too. Oh, you know who I'm talking about. You totally know who I'm talking about. He totally changed the offense. Like, quick.
I don't know. Brock gets all
No. SMH, man.
Time for the Thursday night preview. We've already previewed it a little bit, but we got the Denver Broncos and the New York Jets, not Giants. Typo.
That is what I would call, for lack of a better word, poop game.
Yeah. Definitely not a primetime game. But
Prime time.
we get it in primetime, and can't get down on it too much because, again, we didn't know if we were going to have football this year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at least it's a game.
I'll be watching.
At least
that is
it's
today.
a game.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
today.
that is tonight.
Tonight.
Community poll to pick the winner of this
Broncos.
chose Denver 77% over the Jets at 23%.
That's because Denver has better fans, right, Ricky? No? Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
I feel bad for Jets fans,
Yeah.
I watched somebody the other day and they said, would you rather be a Falcons fan or a Jets fan? Their reasoning for being a Falcons fan over a Jets fan is because at least with the Falcons, you have some sort of hope. Like, they're going to let you down in the end, but at least you have hope throughout the game. The Jets, you don't have any hope. There's no hope. It's like sticking your hand in a blender, thinking something good's going to happen. That's being a New York Jets fan.
Great analogy.
Top performer, I think it's either going to be Noah Fant or just both the defenses.
Not the kickers. I thought you said this was a kicking game.
Yeah.
Kickers have
but
the
I
most
think
points.
the defense...
That would be funny.
I think both their defenses...
Who's Noah
have
Fant?
Tight end.
Tight end?
Total stud.
Is he?
Yeah. I mean,
Cool.
The offense is not studly, but Noah Fant is pretty good. But I think it's a defensive game, and yeah, the kickers also. The score is projected at 40 points. We already kind of talked about it. We both think it's going to be lower. But, each kicker could make 5 field goals.
No.
Well, that...
Be a lot.
5 field goals would still only be 30 points. So,
Oh.
I mean, yeah. Looking at both the teams offensively, wow. Denver averages 289 yards per game on offense, which is 29th. And the Jets are dead last with 263 yards per game. Yeah, just, I'm at a loss for words. It's going to be a brutal game.
Yeah.
Defensively, they're both not great either. 380 yards per game, which is 20th for the Broncos, and 372 yards per game, which is 17th for the Jets. And both teams have a negative turnover differential. -3 for the Broncos and -2 for the Jets. And I'm not so sold that the Broncos are going to win. Like I said, we're starting third-string quarterback Brett Ripon. Is that how you say his last name? I have no idea.
Looks like it.
I don't know if either one of these offenses move the ball that much.
I like defensive games. Chicago Bears fan.
I mean, yeah, but I'd also like to see people score. You know, I don't like to watch soccer because not everybody scores all the time.
I like soccer.
Well, of course you like soccer. Yes. Cool. Give me your pick. Who do you think is going to win, Denver or the Jets?
Going Jets. Jets.
You're going to go the Jets?
Yeah.
Jets. For the first time this year...
Third-string quarterbacks, never good.
For the first time this year, I'm picking the Broncos in a game. I have not picked them all year. I think we finally put our first W on the board this week.
That'd be cool.
Hopefully. Some interesting matchups.
Yes, Chicago and Indianapolis matchup. Chicago has been behind in every fourth quarter, I think, this entire year, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And they come back, and it's always close. And they haven't played even the best teams. What is it? Detroit Lions first week, Atlanta. So, Indianapolis Colts got, what's his name? Phillip Rivers. Good running game with Hines.
Yeah. Jonathan Taylor.
Who's that? Jonathan Taylor?
That's their main running back, yeah.
Okay, Jonathan Taylor.
Rookie.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah,
I should have known that.
He's a real good running back.
So that'll be fun to watch. Houston and Minnesota, huh? Think that's going to be a good game?
I think it's going to be an interesting game for the fact that they are both 0-3.
Okay.
They both are going to be very pass-heavy, I think, and I think it's going to be some sort of shootout.
Someone has to win.
Yeah, I mean, just like with the Broncos and Jets, you got two 0-3 teams. But I like this game. This game is more interesting than the Broncos and Jets, even though both teams are 0-3, because both teams have firepower. And both teams' defenses aren't necessarily the greatest. So I think it's an interesting matchup.
I don't know, any Jets game is tough to watch for me. But I picked them. Chicago's winning on this one for sure.
You think?
I think so. Nick Foles in there. Jimmy Graham.
I think the 3-0 start for the Bears is a fluke.
I do too, but it's all right.
And I think Indianapolis is going to start gelling here pretty soon.
So?
Yeah. I mean, I've never been a believer in Phillip Rivers as a Broncos fan.
Right.
Hated crying Phillip, but, I think...
And the Indianapolis Colts haven't been good for a while.
I think they've got it this week.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
We're not picking these, but,
Houston and Minnesota, I think Houston with Deshaun Watson's got it. They've had tough matchups. Didn't they play Kansas City week 1 or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. They've had tough matchups.
I mean, I'm not picking either one.
And then the Ravens.
I just want to see it.
Yeah. Good game. Buffalo, last one for interesting matchups. Buffalo and the Las Vegas Raiders.
He had to get his pirate voice on there to call them Raiders. I like the matchup with Buffalo just looking outstanding so far to actually play a decent team in the Raiders and a decent defense in the Raiders.
Cool.
It's interesting to me because I want another big game from Josh Allen. And I want him to do it against a team that is good to solidify my thoughts about him.
I think you'll be surprised. Josh Allen's from Wyoming, and I watched him in college.
Fun fact.
Yep.
Fun fact.
He's pretty cool. Just kidding, I don't know him. But I watched him.
Seems pretty cool.
Blowouts. Packers by 40. Baltimore by 30. And shootout by
Seattle and Miami.
Seattle and Miami.
Yeah. I mean,
I think Atlanta versus... Really? You think that'll be a blowout?
I think so. I'm just based on the fact that
this one for sure is going to be a blowout.
This one is going to be a blowout?
Yeah, Seattle versus Miami, sorry.
Seattle and Miami you think is going to be a blowout.
Not a shootout, blowout.
Not a shootout? I mean, the only reason I say shootout is because Seattle doesn't have a great passing defense.
Yeah.
So I think Miami will still put up points.
No, okay.
But I don't think they're going to keep pace with Russell Wilson in that offense. Yeah. But I might retract that I think the Packers are going to blow out Atlanta by 40.
You should. I think Atlanta will do the same thing they did all the other games.
But the Packers are actually a good team.
Yeah.
The Falcons are getting up on bad teams and then blowing it against bad teams. So that was my initial thought, thinking that the Packers were going to blow them out. I still think they're going to blow them out. By 40, probably not.
Well, I hope Devontae Adams is back.
That is something you will have to keep track of. All right. Baltimore and Washington. Yeah. I think that's a definite blowout by 30.
Cool.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, Baltimore's just got a good offense. They had a bad week last week, played the Chiefs. I think they this week and really put it on Washington.
Gotta go with the past MVP.
Yeah. Sunday night preview. Man, what is up with the primetime games kind of just being sleepers? You got Philadelphia Eagles and San Francisco 49ers. I don't think this is going to be an interesting game at all. But...
Well, San Francisco's hurt. Philadelphia's not that good.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of second string. I mean, I feel like it's going to look more like a JV high school football game.
Ouch.
That's
big diss there.
That's where I'm at with this. The community thinks San Francisco will beat Philadelphia 90% to 10. I think Jeff Wilson Jr., talked about him a little bit earlier, I think he's going to be the top performer. San Francisco likes to run the football. Jeff Wilson is pretty much the only healthy guy. I think he's going to get a lot of touches, and he's going to just put up big numbers this week. So, again, maybe plug in Jeff Wilson. I like that matchup. 40 points. I think it goes over, under, stays about that.
Probably stays about that. That's a good number.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be too much more or too much less, honestly.
But with San Francisco, I mean, last week they beat the Giants 36-9. So that's over 40. But do I see Philly scoring this game? I mean, that's a lofty expectation, but I don't know if I even see Philadelphia scoring this week.
Carson Wentz and the Philadelphia Eagles went to the Super Bowl not too long ago.
Well, Nick Foles
won it.
And the Eagles went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz.
I guess.
Liability. Carson, liability. He should change his last name, I think.
To liability.
All right. The San Francisco offense is 14th in the league. Philly's got the 24th, which surprising to me that, I mean, if you look at their turnover differential, they give the ball away 7 more times than they get a takeaway, which is last in the league. But they have the 24th ranked offense. I mean...
They must not take that into consideration.
Maybe they move the ball.
Yeah, they must move the ball.
I mean, this is yardage.
Right.
But... and, this makes it a little interesting. Defensively, they're both top 5 defenses.
Weird. Not expected.
Yeah.
San Francisco expected.
San Francisco kind of expected. I mean, they've got a lot of their main guys out. Hello again. So, I mean, defensively, this might be a defensive game.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Are you ready? And then we got the Monday night game, Atlanta versus Green Bay. Hold on. Sunday night. Who do you think is going to win? San Francisco or...
I'm going with the poll with the 49ers for sure.
You're going with the Niners. I, as well, am choosing the 49ers.
What are you doing?
Alrighty. And now back onto Atlanta and Green Bay. I don't know how much more we need to talk about this game.
Yeah, we've talked about it.
Besides that, it's the Monday night game. And they both have
top 10 offenses.
And
in yards.
The defenses, 31st for the Falcons. I guess that tends to happen when you blow 20-point leads every week.
Plus on the turnover.
Yeah, I mean, both teams take the ball away more than they give it away.
And I think we're all going with the Packers on this one.
Yeah, I don't see any alternate universe where Atlanta wins this game.
Me either.
I mean, unless Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones both, like, just disappear.
If they do, I'll trade you Alvin Kamara. Just kidding. I don't even want to.
I'm holding you to that. That is on
camera.
On camera.
It's not recorded, right?
Probably.
It is?
Yeah, I could probably pull this off and and use it. Video evidence. All right. Well, that is all we have this week. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Anything you would like us to answer next week. Hopefully we're here next week. Probably same setup.
I thought we had another co-host.
Yeah, he never responded, so looks like it's the
duo.
Lucky and Lofty show.
Anyways. Lofty, huh?
Yeah, Lofty. Your last name's Lofty.
I like it.
All right. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.
Haters gonna hate, Shayla.